Hello everybody, Electric for Life here, bringing as a brand new deck profile. Doing it again, just like I did with the Goki Breaker deck profile, since you guys liked that so much. And yeah, this time we're doing Superheavy Samurais. Now, I love Superheavy Samurais. I remember building them back when they just had 3 cards and trying to make that work. If I remember right, they actually topped because of that combo with one of the equipped cards and machine dupe and stuff. But that was super inconsistent. And now the deck is a full archetype. And it's a weird one, because you can't play spell or trap cards, so you got to make up for it with other stuff. Now, on that note, you'll hear people say that, oh, you can totally play Sekka's Light. Okay, so Sekka's Light, you can't. You can try, but considering the whole point of at least this build is to make Susanoo, Sekka's Light becomes, well, pointless. Also, it's at 1, so you're not going to see it as much as you would have before, so it's very, very iffy, and I'm just not the biggest fan of this in here. On top of that, it negates your back row guys, because they pretend to be spells, or at least they act as spells in the spell and trap card zone whenever you equip them on stuff, so you can't even use Soul Peacemaker for his effect. So, I don't recommend Sekka's Light, partly because it's at 1, and partly because it's just not good for the archetype. Now, with that being said, let's get on with the deck profile, and I'll talk about my choices and my thought process in regards to this kind of stuff. So first and foremost, we got 2 Nibiru. I'm going to just go and talk about all the hand traps. 2 Ash and 2 Veiler. Okay, so our hand trap lineup, I chose these 6 explicitly because of a few different reasons. First and foremost, 2 Nibiru, we don't want our opponent making 5+ negate boards because we can't really fight through them. To an extent you can. If you open a perfect hand, you can kind of fight through it and get out maybe a Shutendoji or something, but however, it's not, I don't recommend it. It's just not very easy to do so. In fact, you can probably cram in a 3rd Nibiru if you really want to. But I'm very wary of playing more than 6 hand traps because even at 6, I have bricked with opening too many of them. I have had hands where I've opened 2 Ash, a Nibiru, and a Veiler, and 1 Samurai, and it's not even one that I want to see yet. So, yeah, you definitely want to be careful about playing too many hand traps in this deck, partly because we don't have a lot of draw power, so we got to be careful and just not really, go overly crazy with a lot of the ideas. 2 Ash, because we don't want our opponent to, well, be able to search and draw and stuff. Again, you could totally bump her up to 3 by taking out something. Personally, if you're going to take out anything, I'd recommend General Coral, just because he doesn't get used super heavily, but however, he is a really nice playmaker for his Draw 2 effect. So that is nice, but it doesn't get used particularly often, so if you really want to add in a 3rd of any of the dudes over here to hand traps, go ahead and take out a Coral and add in whichever hand trap you want. Then we got 2 Effect Filler for monster negation. This deck doesn't have a lot of monster negation. In fact, it doesn't have a lot of negation at all inherently in the archetype. So 2 Effect Filler is really nice just for being able to stop monster effects during the opponent's turn. Especially since if you go in second, it's a lot harder to build a board than it is to go first. Now then, next up we got 2 Superheavy Samurai Thief. Thief is a really good monster. He's basically our MST. However, there's a few different things issuing with him, okay? Most notably, the fact that if he uses his effect to spell summon himself, provided you have no spell or trap cards in your hand, in your graveyard, he locks you into Superheavy Samurais, which isn't the worst thing in the world because a lot of the stuff does. Arc V was notorious with that, with a lot of archetypes being very Xenocentric and stuff, where they are just very archetypal-centric. And Thief is definitely one of those, and that sucks, because he's so good, and I want to play 3, but I can't really justify it to an extent. You can play 3, again, drop Coral for a 3rd. That's just my general recommendation. Thief, basically, you plop him on the field, you contribute him, destroy your spell or trap card in your opponent's back row, and then you steal it. Okay, you get to take it. Oh, hey, you destroyed it. You get to see what it looked. You get to see what it is. Oh, that's a solemn warning. I'm gonna steal it and use it for my own. Because back in the day when Pendulum Zones were their own thing, it does also specifically reference the Pendulum Zone, but obviously that's in the back row, so you can basically also steal your opponent's pendulums, which is hilarious. Not that you're going to see it, ever, because who plays pendulums anymore? Next up, we got one General Jade. Jade is just a really good beat stick. He's a level 8, and he makes making good old Susanoo super easy because you only need 2 monsters rather than 3 most of the time. He can also be tribute summoned with 1 tribute. Now you'll notice I don't have Big Benkei in here, but you might see him in some of the replays. That's because I used to play Benkei, but I ultimately decided to drop him. Benkei just wasn't particularly useful in a lot of situations, and he just ended up being more of a burden than anything, especially whenever I opened him. Oh my god, it was horrible. So I dropped Benkei, which does suck because he's the former boss monster of the deck, so I just think it's hilarious that the former boss isn't played anymore. But I digress. Next up, we got Superheavy Samurai Wagon. Wagon is super awesome. Whenever he is normal or special summon, you can change his battle position. You can attack while in defense position. Not a lot of main deck Superheavy Samurais have that. General Jade being another one. In fact, I think these are the only 2 that can do that in the main deck that we have in the deck. Actually, now that I think about it, I think they're the only 2 period in the main deck. Other than Benkei, who gives it to everybody, including himself. But anyway, so he can attack on defense, apply his defense for damage calculation, which is really cool. He's 1800. And then once per turn, you can change him from defense to attack to search out any Superheavy Samurai soul. Now, if you saw my video on it, or if you're just watching this looking for a deck profile of Superheavy Samurais, cool, you know what a Superheavy Samurai soul is. The souls are basically your spell and trap cards. They are monsters that have effects where they can equip them onto stuff, or maybe even have quick effects to protect your dudes. So they are basically your spells and traps, and Wagon searches them out, which is really cool. Speaking of, we got the best of the souls, Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer. He's a level 4, 1200 attack, 0 defense, one of the only, if not the only, Superheavy Samurai that has more attack than he does defense. And I guess that makes sense, he's a bow. Can't really block with a bow unless you're in Monster Hunter. But anyway, so the big thing with him is while he's equipped to a dude, it gives him piercing, which is pretty nice and does come up like once in a blue moon. But the bigger thing is that this thing is not once per turn searcher. If it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to search out any Superheavy Samurai except a copy of itself. And that's not once per turn, which lets you abuse the heck out of this thing. You can typically get 3, sometimes even 4 searches in 1 turn if you play your cards right. And that is ridiculous, and I love it, because you get to just plus so hard. So many other archetypes would love to have something like Soul Piercer, but they don't, so we're going to abuse the heck out of it in Sam's. Then we got Superheavy Samurai Magnet. Now this is another one where I could totally see a justification for playing 3 of, but however I'm going to roll with 2 because I found him to be more consistent at 2. That is, he's basically a Marauding Captain. Whenever he's normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Superheavy Sam from your hand, and then change this card to defense position. Your opponent can't attack monsters except for this one. This is a really good monster. He's a Marauding Captain, a good opener for like just doing plays in general. My only issue with him is that I found that a lot of the times I just have better normal summons, or he gets negated, and so I try to play around getting negated. So if like I open him and like him and Soul Piercer, sometimes I'll just normal summon a Soul Piercer, go for the link play, get my search, and then continue on. And then hopefully my link doesn't get negated. But hey, at least it's not the end of the world if my link gets negated. But Magnet is really good for that, and because he's so searchable, I just find that playing 2 is kind of better. And I know people are going to yell at me about Scales being at 3, because he is technically a more situational card, but hear me out on this. Superheavy Samurai Scales is a level 4, 800, 1800. If your opponent controls 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If he is normal or special summon, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Superheavy Samurai in your graveyard, except a copy of himself, special summon it. You can only use that effect once per turn. So, once a turn, you get to get a basically free revival with Scales. And this allows you to combo so well, and there's so many ways to abuse it. You can special summon it off of Peacemaker, get the effect off, and just be able to continue on with your plays, and make some big synchro boards. If Magnet could trigger his special summon effect on being special summoned and not just a normal summon, I would totally be playing 3 Magnet, 3 Scales, but you can only get Magnet's effect off on normal summon, which in my experience has just not been particularly great. So yeah, I've been rolling with 3 Scales 2 magnet. I can see a justification. Again, probably dropping 1 coral for another magnet. It's totally down to you. I mostly make deck profiles to use for people to use as kind of a reference point to see ideas and considerations for the archetypes. Next up, we got 1 Soulbane Cannon. This is one of the equip cards. You equip him onto a Super Heavy Samurai. He gains 1,000 defense, and during your player's battle phase, when your opponent activates a card effect while you control a defense position Super Heavy Sam, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Then destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, both players take 1,000 damage. This thing's basically a Ring of Destruction in the graveyard that also negates a monster effect, or sorry, a card effect. This thing is hilarious. I love it. Okay, it allows for ties, it allows for just big damage and trying to push for game. Basically, okay, so battle phase. My Susanoo attacks, my opponent activates, I don't know, Dark Mirror Force. I doubt they'd be playing it, but just using it as an example. Okay, Soulbane Cannon, effect, banish, negate, destroy every monster on the field, both players take 1,000 damage. Okay, I wish it didn't destroy your dudes, but there are a way to protect them, like for instance Soulfire Suit, to prevent them from getting destroyed by your own stuff. So, it is something you can kind of cheese around with and take advantage of. So, very, very, very good card, but I don't recommend playing more than 1 of it because it just tends to brick at more than 1, so 1 is fine. Next up, we got Performance Power Card Gardna, who finally came out in Rise of the Duelist. Card Gardna, its monster effect is irrelevant. It has decent scales, and you want to play him in the scales, because while he's in the scales, once per turn you can target a face-up defense position monster you control. Its defense becomes equal to the combined original defense of all face-up monsters. Sorry, all face-up defense position monsters you currently control, even if this card leaves the field. And this is not a hard once per turn, so if you really wanted to cheese it, you could put 2 into scales and just like triple your monster's attack power, if not even more. Because again, Super Heavy Samurais attack with their defense, so this thing is pretty nutty sometimes. I do see issues with it, most notably with it not being searchable in the archetype, so I can see a justification for why not to play it. And you know, if you are one of those people who doesn't want to play it for just being able to get like those OTKs with it, drop it for 2 more of like a, I don't know, Ghost Ogre or something. You know, any hand trap. It's just this thing allows you to get over such beefy stuff and also go for OTKs. So, I don't know. I personally really like it, but if you really don't want to play Card Gardna, drop them for like 2 Ogre or, I don't know, a DD Crow, another Ash, another Fekville, or whatever you want to go with. By the way, the side down here is not like my actual side deck, although it totally could be with this deck. It's more so just ideas of what I was looking at for stuff to play in the archetype, so that is just something to consider. Next up, we got 2 Super Heavy Samurai Flutists. I find myself very mixed on this. I want to play 3, but I also feel like 2 is better because he just tends to get dumped into graveyard with the Link Monster effect rather than using his own effect, especially since I dropped Big Ben K, so it's not particularly useful. So, Flutist, you can attribute him, special summon a Super Heavy Samurai from your hand. During your first turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, you can banish him from your graveyard and negate that activation and destroy that monster. Or, sorry, card. So, your opponent, like, activates a card that targets your Susanoo, maybe they activate Impermanence or something, you can banish Flutist, negate Impermanence, and destroy it. So, very, very good card. I personally find it better at 2 so far, but you can totally play 3. It doesn't make a big difference purely because he can tribute himself, special summon any dude from your hand. It'll be just like normal summoning that guy, but now you have a Flutist in your graveyard for protection. Who knew that flutes could be protective? Next up, we got 3 Soulfire Suit. This is the best soul monster right behind Soul Piercer. This thing is stupid. So it has a really pointless equip effect where it can make one of your dudes level 5. Okay, cool. But however, more importantly, during Icarus' turn, you can discard it, target a Super Heavy Samurai monster. It loses 800 defense, but it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. And the 800 defense loss is only until the end of the turn. That is so incredibly good for what the deck wants to do. It's just more protection. It's some of the best protection that this archetype can get. If you drop a Soulfire Suit on your Susanoo, it's not going anywhere. You're gonna if your opponent tries to target it with like something that's non-destruction, like God forbid Kirin or like Compulse or something, I don't know. You got Flutist, but who plays any of those cards anymore? So, Soulfire Suit, one of the best cards for the archetype right away. Next up, we got our two tuners, good old Trumpeter and Battle Ball. Trumpeter can special summon himself and also be special summoned whenever he's used as a tribute fodder. Not that that comes up very often. The biggest thing is that you can just plop him on the field for free. However, you're locked into Super Heavy Samurais. Then you got Battle Ball, who can steal your opponent's monsters and use them for synchro material, which is hilarious. Basically, once per turn, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level. Send both it and the I almost called him a basketball. Battle Ball to the graveyard to synchro summon a Super Heavy Samurai synchro that levels equal up to that level. Now, just a little thing to note, I don't know if this is a rolling dispute between OCG and TCG or whatever, but if you target a level 10 monster, you cannot just cheese out Steam Train King, because he apparently still needs 2 more non-tuner monsters because it's being treated as a synchro summon. So, I've been told you can cheese out Steam Train King, but it's not letting me do it on Ygopro, so I don't think you actually can. Next up, we got General Coral. General Coral is really good on paper and is handy in certain situations, especially with certain combos where you can just cheese out the draw 2. But however, it is also very risky to play, and you generally don't want to draw him, you want to summon him off a Peacemaker. Now, what does he do? Well, he has a decent pendulum effect where you can make it so one of your Super Heavies can attack twice. Really nice, right there. But also, if you have no cards in your graveyard, you can tribute up to 2 Super Heavy Samurais, draw that many cards. You can only use that effect of him once per turn. Really, really nice because you can tribute himself and like Soul Piercer to draw 2, and then Soul Piercer's effective to search. Now, that being said, he is a level 1 Pendulum, which means you're not going to get to special summon him. Now, back in the day, let's see here, 0, actually no, scale 0, here we go. So, back in the day, there was a scale 0 that some people played called Pendulum Mucho, because he could search out General Coral, and then, it's a scale 0, so you can Pendulum Summon General Coral, which is really cool, but it's not really worth doing that particularly often. But it is nice to an extent, especially since you can also grab back one of your pendulums that's banished or in a graveyard. So if you discarded something, there is plays around that. And hey, there are Earths, so that is another thing. Just something to keep in mind. Other than that, though, I mean, there's no particularly other good skill 0s to use. I mean, you could probably try something with the Gate Engine. I did try that back when it first came out, and it wasn't good either. So, yeah. Holy crap, I didn't realize that All Eyes Phantom Dragon had a scale 0. What the hell is this thing? Anyway, so, moving on. We got 2 Super Heavy Samurai Soul Buster Gauntlet. No, sorry, Soul Buster Gauntlet. This thing is basically an honest. During your player's battle phase, damage step, when a defense position Super Heavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent's monster, and you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you can send Gauntlet from your hand to the graveyard to double your defense of your monster. This effectively allows you to just do a huge amount of damage, and is basically an OTK card, but is searchable. So, I can definitely see a reason not to play Card Gardener, but this card is just amazing. It can brick sometimes, so I'm only playing 2 of them. Same thing with Soul Beads. Soul Beads, you target a Super Heavy Samurai you control, equip it from your side of hand of the field, or field to that monster. Each turn, the first time the equipped monster would be destroyed by card effect. It is not. And then if a defense position monster is destroyed by battle and sent to your graveyard, you can send it from your hand to the graveyard to spell summon that monster in attack position. It's one of the few instances of a monster born for this archetype. The other being Drum and a Link monster, but Drum is bad, and a Link monster we play 2 of because it's just that good. So this is pretty handy. I mostly usually keep it in my hand to be able to bring back my monster if it gets run over in battle. But if I don't have Soulfire Suit, I will equip it onto Susanoo to protect him. But it just then becomes back row target, and there's so much back row hate, it's kind of ridiculous. So you got to be careful with that. And finally, we got Triple Peacemaker. This thing is just the best. I would argue that it's the 3rd best, if not the 2nd best, maybe. It's very hard to pick between it, Soul Fire Suit, and Soul Piercer. But however, Soul Peacemaker basically turns your dude that he's equipped to into Lone Fire Blossom. Once per turn, whenever it's equipped onto a monster, you contribute that monster, special summon any Super Heavy Samurai from your deck, except a copy of itself. Actually, no, you can even special summon a copy of itself. That is ridiculous. You don't want to do that, though, because you can only use this effect once per turn, but still, that is absolutely fantastic. Just being able to turn any of your other super heavy samurais into a lone fire with this thing. That's like having, what, 37 lone fires? Or actually, wait, -6, -8, so 29 lone fires. Actually, no, -3 more. Actually, yeah, so 27, 26, whatever. You have basically 26 lone fires as long as you have this thing in your hand. Next up, we got the Link monsters. 2 Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow. You can play 3 if you really want to. I personally found that I've never needed 3, but however, it's something you can totally do if you really want to. So Scarecrow, 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster. It cannot be used as link material, which sucks. I wish you could make it. I wish you could use it as link material, because you could just switch it out for like a Link 2 or something later on. But no, you can't do that. While you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. And if you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you can discard a monster, then target a Super Heavy Sam in your graveyard, spell summon it to the zone that this card points to in defense position. This thing is basically a monster reborn once per turn, and then you can use that monster for synchro material. It has no restrictions on the monster you bring back. It doesn't negate its effects, doesn't say it can't be used for synchro material or anything like that. So you can, like, I don't know, discard a scale. I mean, yes, discard Soul Piercer, target a scale in graveyard, scale comes back, affect a scale, special summon Soul Piercer, special summon Trumpeter, synchro for 10. It's so good. Next up, we got 1 Cerberus for monster popping. This deck doesn't have a lot of monster removal. Then we got 1 Baguska just for the occasional time where I don't have a good hand going first, and this thing is handy. 1 Tornado Dragon for just general popping. 1 Gigging X, everything is machine. Next up, for synchros, we got 1 Musashi, who can add back one of our dudes from the graveyard. 1 Netria Beast and 1 Netria Barkion. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. You're not going to get to make either of these guys particularly often. Mostly because this deck locks you into Super Heavy Samurais so much. I've personally only ever made Barkion. I actually haven't made Barkion at all, but I've made Beast like twice. So you don't get to make it a lot, which sucks. It doesn't help that it's a really weird level for Samurais. You basically gotta use Flutist and Trumpeter. And of course, Trumpeter, if you use his own effect to spell summon himself, you're locked into, well, Super Heavy Samurais. So the best way I've found to do that is to make the link, discard something, bring back Flutist or Trumpeter from the graveyard, then normal summon the other dude to synchro. Yeah, and unfortunately Battle Ball is a dark, so you can't use Battle Ball. Next up we got 1 Sarutobi, who's basically a quick effect. He's basically another Tornado Dragon, but doesn't need to detach because he's a synchro, and he also does burn damage, so yeah, just really nice for being able to burn. 1 Kyubi, because this thing's a walking OTK if you can make him, which is really, really nice. 2 Susanoo, because Susanoo is best boy, and you will be making him most of the time. He can steal your opponent's spell and trap cards out of their graveyard and let you use them. And then finally, Steam Train King, which is just a really good synchro, hindered by some issues. The biggest thing with Steam Train King is he is really hard for this deck to make. In my experience, you basically gotta use Suten Doji along with like Scales and Trumpeter to make him. There are some other ways you can do it, but it's not something easy to do because he's a level 12 and needs 2 non-tuner Super Heavy Samurais. If you just needed 1 non-tuner, just using an extra Susanoo with Trumpeter would be more than enough, but no, you can't do that. So what does this thing even do to where it needs to be so hard to summon? Well, you can discard up to 2 cards, target at many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. That's not a quick effect. And then once per turn, you can banish all spell and trap cards from the graveyards, and if you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card banished. Again, not a quick effect. So neither of his effects are quick effects, but the biggest thing is that popping and also getting rid of all that back row in the graveyards is really, really handy, so it's still something to consider making occasionally, but generally speaking, even if you can make them, you usually find yourself making Susanoo. So if you want to cut him, I totally see why. Same thing with Kyubi. Kyubi is kind of hard to make as well for being a level 9, but however, it's not the worst thing in the world, so it really comes down to your personal preference as a duelist. So, let's go ahead and see a test hand, just kind of see what my general thought process with this is. So, right off the bat, this is like my favorite hand ever. Oh my god, this hand is perfect. Okay, so right off the bat, let's go ahead and normal summon good old Wagon. We're going to switch him to defense. We're going to use his effect, switch him back to attack mode, and then we're going to search out Peacemaker. Now, we're going to equip Soul Piercer onto Wagon, and then we're going to equip Peacemaker onto Wagon. Peacemaker effect. Then we're going to special summon Scales. Boom. We're going to get Scales effect. We're going to bring back the Peacemaker. And we're also going to chain the Peacemaker effect to search. Because we can totally do this right now. This is one of the reasons why I love this so much. Okay. Now, at this point, I already have Suit in my hand. So just to be on the safe side, I am going to go ahead and grab Soul Beads. So now Scales is going to special summon Piercer. And that's all. We're going to make the link using Piercer. Boom. Piercer effect. Not once per turn. Not once per turn, guys. I love it. So now we're going to go ahead and just grab a magnet for next turn. And now we're going to discard Flutist, get him in the graveyard, bring back Soul Piercer again. Boom. And now we're going to special summon Trumpeter. Now we're going to Synchro for 10. Now we're going to get Soul Piercer effect to search again. I love it so much. God. So now this is where it gets kind of tricky. You can search out Scales for another follow-up play next turn. Or we can search out... Where is he? Where is he? Soulbane Cannon to pump up Susanoo by 1,000 and just get him out on the field. But I'm going to play it safe. I already got enough protection for good old Susanoo. So we're going to search out Scales. Now that's pretty much the end of the turn. If you want, you can either equip Soul Beads onto Susanoo to make him immune to being able to be destroyed by card effects once a turn. But since we have Soulfire Suit, we can make him immune to card effects the entire turn. So I'm going to leave Soul Beads in my hand. So that then if Susanoo gets killed... Thank you, J-List. Go away. I hate this mail app on my computer. Go away. So... What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Soul Beads, we can keep it in my hand just in case if like Susanoo gets killed. And then we can bring him back. So, because, I mean, we want to keep our best boss monster out. So, just to see what's next. So, next up is Nibiru the Primal Being. Not the greatest thing in the world to draw going into the next turn. But, hey, look at that. You know, we searched, how many times? What, 3 times? Yeah, because we searched out Magnet, we searched out Scales, and I think we searched out Soul Beads. I think it was something like that. Yeah, we searched out Soul Beads. So, yeah, that was 3 times. So, let's go ahead and see what another hand's going to look like. And this is another great hand, okay? So we're going to normal summon Soul Piercer. We are going to go ahead and equip Peacemaker onto it. Peacemaker effect. And then we're going to special summon Scales. Now the tricky thing is we did not draw into any of the tuners. So we got to definitely get one of the tuners eventually. We're going to use Peacemaker. Well, Soul Piercer I should say. And, you know, let's go ahead and just grab one of the tuners right away. I don't want to risk forgetting about it. So we got the tuner. Bringing out the Piercer. Linking one. To search again. Oh, God. Okay. And we already got the Soulfire Suit. So, you know, let's go ahead and grab Soulbane Cannon. And then we're going to activate the effect of Scarecrow, discarding Flutist, bringing back Soul Piercer again, to get search number 3, making Susanoo. Boom, boom, boom. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and grab a Scales for a follow-up play next turn. Maybe I'll make a Suiton Doji to pop their back row. Maybe I will make Barkion just in case, because we could do that. And now let's go and equip Soulbane Cannon. Funnily enough, you can negate it with your Flutist, which would be stupid, but hey, you got it. So now we got a 4800 Susanoo. We have Soulfire Suit in hand. And yeah, we are safe for a turn. Again, we got, what, 2 or 3 searches off of that? Alrighty, let's do one more restart and then we'll get into some actual games. Now, this hand is not particularly great, I will be 100% honest. So, let's go ahead and normal summon Flutist. Equip Peacemaker. Why can't I open Peacemaker every game like I do when I don't open it that much? What the hell? Oh well, I'm not going to complain. Okay, so now we're going to grab Piercer. We're going to make the link 1. We're going to search for scales. We're going to discard the scales. Bring back the scales. Effective good old scales. Bring him back. Good old Peacemaker. I mean, Piercer. Boop. Now, this is one of those hands where I'm not particularly happy with any particular option. So, we're going to play it safe and make Baguska. Just in case. And that is going to be pretty much the end of our turn. There's not really much more we could do. You could like activate something if you really wanted to, but that's like one of those really bricky hands and why I like Baguska for this deck so much. I wish I would have realized I would have played him so much sooner, because oh my god, he would have been helpful in a lot of turns. Especially since next turn I'm getting another scales, so yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we got for replays. So, starting off with a Cyber's duel. And the Cyber's player is going first, and I open garbage. Nothing more wonderful than drawing 2 Nibiru, which, oh boy, that is not fun. So Cyber's player is going just kind of ham, totally playing Code Talker, getting all his searches. I love Code Talker inverted. I need to hurry up and finish with my Code Talker deck so I can show off that to you guys. I got a lot more decks that I've been working on, so I dropped Nibiru. Nibiru's got a crap ton of stats. That's not fun. Now, I will show you wins and losses. I don't remember if this is a win or a loss, but yeah, this dude was still able to play through Nibiru. He still had so much he could do. This is not fun. He uses Meerkat. Not a lot of people play Meerkat. He's better than people think. Yeah, he ends on Avramax, which is a pain to get over. So I don't want him searching off a Kodak anymore moving forward, and I know Cybers have ways to grab it back. So let's go and pause for a second. So I summoned the Thief, popped a Kodak. I stole it because I know Cybers has several different ways to grab back their spells and traps. I go ahead and make some plays, make my Scarecrow, get a search, Scarecrow effect, discarding go to scales, bringing back Piercer, making Susanoo, getting another search, grabbing Soulbuster Gauntlet. And since Avramax only increases his attack power by my attack power, not my defense, which is also in the situation with Boral Sword, you can get over Boral Sword and Avramax relatively easily. The only issue is that Avramax still has that oh so wonderful spin back effect, which is not fun to deal with. So there goes my my dude. Now, granted, I did do a lot of damage, but he's still got a 7k token that I am scared of. I'm gonna search Microcoder. He made Xcode Talker for some reason. I don't know why he also didn't select this zone over here where my Scarecrow points to, but hey, whatever. He tributed off the token, and that's because he made some mistakes and was out of stuff to make. The dude made a misplay, and actually we were laughing about it because he totally had me, and then he made that misplay, and now we're going to be able to just kind of go off, and yeah. The Xcode Talker doesn't have... Oh yeah, that's right, I was just able to attack over the Stabler. Yeah, he made a misplay there. Now we got a fun one. This is Dragma. Like, just pure Dragma, not like Dragmush at all or anything. I don't think, at least. Yeah, it's straight up Dragma. So yeah, I'm going to negate his Nadir. And he's got an okay setup here. The back row scares me a bit, but not really that much. until he drops punishment on me, which is just wonderful. Skills is going to get his effect though, and he's going to use a counter, just summon out Fleur-de-Lis, who, hey, did not get her effect for some reason. Oh yeah, that's right, you get it on her own effect being special summoned. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and run over. This is back when I was still playing Big Ben K, and it's one of the few times where he was like actually useful, because, oh hey, he's not an extra deck monster. So I don't know, maybe going forward, if Dragma become really relevant, I might play Big Ben K again, only because, well, he's not an extra deck monster, so he still gets popped by the oh-so-wonderful field spell. I'm going to bring back Big Ben K and just run over for more damage. So, yeah, Khaleesi is dead. Poor Bess girl. He's going to get... I don't know why he dumped that when he could have just ran over my Scarecrow, but hey, whatever. He's going to summon out Maximus. Okay, I dumped some links I don't care about. And he gets Stigmavore, summoning out Albaz, and gets another special summon off of good old Brigadin, or Arcanaclad. I can't remember what they call him. So, oh yeah, Titaniclad, that's what his name is. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to get wrecked here at this point. Yeah. I'm not dead yet. He's going to get another search off of that, and another special summon. This time getting out Oracle. And yeah, I bricked. So that was one of those situations where I just got screwed over. It was really hard to get over any of the things. This field spell, I should have like tried to pop it as soon as I could, but it just wasn't going to happen. So let's move on. Yeah, if you are playing this deck, get rid of that field spell as soon as you can if you're doing against Dragma, because it's not fun, and you saw what happens. Now we're doing against Mayakashi. Oh boy. So I have very mixed feelings on Mayakashi. The deck, I like the idea of it, but it's so linear and so locking you into Mayakashi crap that it kind of sucks. Actually, it very much sucks, and I'm just going to go ahead and drop a Nibiru on that and prevent him from going all in on his stuff. And this is the reason why I dropped Big Ben K, because drawing him sucks. Gonna go through my combos. Gonna get searches, special summons, you know the deal. Another search off of Piercer. Drop into Big Ben K because I don't want him in my hand. Making Susanoo. Kind of just going off, stealing his spell. I don't know why. Going for that coral so I can get for double attacks. And getting an OTK. That's why I like Coral. He's a searchable dude who lets you just double attack along with Tron too. It kind of just comes down to your personal need. So next up we got Cyber Dragons. Oh boy. And yeah, this is like a much more relevant deck. He negated my freaking Soul Piercer, dang it. So I dropped the other Soul Piercer, and yeah, there wasn't just anything I could do. So yeah, leaving Soul Piercer out in hopes of getting an extra search next turn was just basically my only option at that point. Getting the search, grabbing the scales, getting hit for 21, which is just oh so fun. Special summoning out Thief. Oh yeah, this is also when I played 3 Thief, but you kind of can see how it works. Evenly matched. That's a wonderful card to take from my opponent. Oh boy. So this is one of those few times where I didn't want to grab Soul Piercer from the graveyard, because I wanted to get Wagon so I can search out Peacemaker and do some more plays. Because I wanted to go for big damage. Yeah, there was a lot better stuff I could have done there. I don't know what I was thinking. He does get rid of the evenly match before I even get to use it, which sucks. But oh well. So yeah, I don't know why he attacked Big Ben K with that. I'm just not going to question it. He got free damage for me, so hey, whatever. Making Gear Gigant X. Get into Trumpeter, special summon the Trumpeter, using him with Big Ben K. Still in that evenly matched again. I will hopefully get to use it. I doubt I will. Just that was my hope, though, stealing it. So now he's got some fun stuff going on. He special summons out Noxter, gets back his Rampage Dragon, which is wonderful. And he's going to make Infinity. And Infinity is another one of those cards where it's just like, I don't care. He's going to pop the evenly matched again. grabbing back that oh so wonderful hurts, and I'm going to steal that Monster Reborn. He's going to negate. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh yeah, that's right, I had Nibiru. Wanted to be able to use Nibiru's effect to stop him from going on Combo Wombo, and yeah. This is one of those times where I use Coral. I really should have, like, summoned out both Thief, because you can totally summon both Thief very easily. Now he's going to summon out Core. I'm going to drop effect Feral on Core. And that makes Core be treated as Core, not Cyber Dragon, so he has to summon out other Cores with Machine Dupe. And he's going to get a Search. He's going to make a big, scary Eltanin. And yeah, that's got 6k attack, and that's a game on that. So that was a sucky duel. Oh boy. Now we got finally some more recent ones with the current build going against Thunder Dragon here. And this is a fun duel, I'll be honest. So I'm just going to get my big searches and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I hadn't used my normal summon yet, so I'm just going for that, getting my other search, grabbing Soulbang, equipping Soulbang. And I have Soulfire Suit, so I'm pretty happy. I feel safe. And then I see Lupin, and I'm like, oh crap, it's Thunder Dragons. Now, at least I don't have to worry about freaking Colossus anymore. I still think Colossus should be at 1, not at 0, but that's just my personal preference. So yeah, he's going to make a Titan, link it off for Predaplant Anaconda. I'm still questioning why he did that. Now, obviously, he made Fusion Dragon to try and punch over Susanoo, which I guess was his idea with doing that. I don't feel like that's... I feel like there's better ways he could have done that, but hey, whatever, dude. More power to you. He made Starving Venom, which is a scary card against his deck for the most part. So I'm going to use that to stop him from getting killed. And I don't know why I stole the Super Poly. I just wanted it. So I'm going to go ahead and use skills. Yada, yada, yada. This is one of those times where like, oh, hey, I really get to actually plus off of this. Grabbed Soulfire Suit. And Soulfire Suit's going to protect Susanoo from getting killed. Not so much for the other two, but hey, whatever. He's going to use his fusion spell. And that's a big one that I really want to get rid of. And here's a fun one. So I chain blocked his Titan from being able to destroy my Susanoo. And he didn't have anything else, so thankfully not only did I prevent him from getting a future search off of Fusion, but I chain blocked Titan, which is hilarious. I still think it's just so astounding you can do that. He plays Dragon Lord, which is interesting because I remember people saying that was bad. Getting Magnet, making Sutan Doji, popping his back row. I don't know why I didn't chain it. Just going to kind of run over stuff, steal the Called by the Grave, and continuing on from there. He's going to get a search, or not, with good old Ash Blossom. Summoning Solar, and he quits at that point. Because I had a Called by the Grave, was going to be able to negate stuff. Oh wow, I was going to draw Nibiru next. But yeah, my Susanoo was just going to just keep stealing his crap, and that was just fun. And then finally, we got a duel against Witchcrafter. Now, this is an interesting one. Holy crap, he's playing Magician's Right Hand? That is interesting. I never thought about adding Witchcrafter, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about playing it in Witchcrafter. But anyway, so yeah, just kind of going to go with my thing. Synchroing into Susanoo, getting the search off of the Soulbang. I should have grabbed Soulfire Suit, but I grabbed Soulbang for some reason. I think I misclicked. The oh so wonderfulness of Ygopro. And yeah, still in his pot of extravagance, and getting to draw 2 off of my own stuff. Oh well, I got my Susanoo out. I'm more than happy. Searching while grabbing out Soul Piercer, synchroing for Musashi, who's going to grab Soul Peacemaker, equipping Soul Peacemaker on Soul Piercer, and summoning out Wagon. And I forgot, another misclick. I clicked no on searching out with Soul Piercer, because I was going to search Cannon, and yeah, that would have been game right then and there, but I screwed up. So yeah. Yeah, so he summons out Aruru with good old Unveiling, tries to attack, and I drop Gauntlet and win. So that is Superheavy Samurais. I adore this deck. It's such a fun one to play. I feel like it's very close to being like a decent rogue deck, but it's just missing some stuff. Maybe with more hand traps it might be better, or maybe just more archetypal, really good archetypal cards would be handy. There is another version of the deck that somebody brought up to me in my archetype analysis video, which was Superheavy Kaiju, which is all about spamming out the Kaiju and using them with your Battle Ball to cheese out Susanoo and stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of this, I'll be honest. It can be bricky because you got to sacrifice some more of your searchers for, well, some more of your Superheavy Samurai stuff for this. Like, you'll see I cut General Coral, which, I mean, I'm kind of debating on anyway for the main version. But, however, I had to cut some other stuff. The big thing that I found out, and I don't know if this is just because Ygopro uses OCG rollings, and I don't know if it's rolled any differently in the TCG, but however, in that video on the comments, the guy said that, oh, you can cheese out Steam Train King with Battle Ball by using a level 10 Kaiju. No, you can't. Ygopro won't let me do it. I don't know why, and it's kind of annoying because it makes sense why I would do it since it cheeses it. But since it's still treated as a synchro summon and he needs 2 more non-tuner Superheavy Samurais, I don't know. It's just weird. So I went ahead and dropped the Jizukirus for 2 Flame Kaiju. And for the most part, it's just functional as the standard build. The only difference is I dropped Nibiru for 4 Kaijus. So yeah, I don't personally like it. Personally, I recommend this version more. And of course, there are definitely ideas, recommendations, and changes that you can totally do to it to make it even better. Like, really looking at it forward, I'm probably going to drop Card Gardna, especially if I were to take this to a tournament, because he's not searchable, and I haven't really gotten to really use him much. So I could totally drop him and switch him out for, like, 2 more hand traps, like, I don't know, Ogre, which might actually make the deck a bit better, but where'd my Ogre go? There it is. So, yeah, there's definitely stuff that you can change around and ideas that you can mess around with this deck. I think that's one of the biggest things with Superheavy Samurais is that they have so much flexibility. Like, their biggest hindrance is also their biggest strength. Not having any spell and trap cards means you can just kind of just go off and figure out what works best for you and your playstyle. So, I'm going to leave it to you guys. What do you guys think about my deck profile of Superheavy Samurais? Do you guys like it? What do you guys think about it? What would your recommendations, concerns, and ideas be? And thank you all for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, guys. Every subscriber helps out. And hey, if you really, really like my content, consider being a channel member for only $1 a month. You get some really cool emoticons to use and a little badge to put next to your name down there. And it would help out a lot. If just all of you guys would do it, that would be very, very helpful. But hey, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to lock off videos. I don't feel like I don't know. I'm getting my train of thought lost. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace out. And hey, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. See y'all later. Thank you all for watching the video. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Rate, comment, and subscribe. And see y'all later.